How's it going? And today we are just taking a quick and dirty look at smart objects. And the reason I'm doing this is that I tried following some tutorials online and I just couldn't get it to work. And I know some were using the behavior tree and others were using a state tree and it still wasn't working. And there's this tutorial online and I think it's out of date or something, but I couldn't get this one to work either. So it was really frustrating. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a simplified version that I got working, and it doesn't rely on using a behavior tree or a state tree. But we do need to go in and enable these plugins. One thing I'd like to note is that this is experimental, so you're just using it at this point for your own future education because you wouldn't want to publish a game with an experimental feature in it, or you're doing so at your own risk. I still think there's some bugs in it because even when I was following some tutorials online, they were having problems with the system crashing and things like that. But I do think it's worth exploring. So what is a smart object? They're objects placed in a level that AI agents and players can interact with, and it contains all the information within it on how to handle the transaction. So you code the logic into the object, not into the player. What's great about this is it uses a reservation system so that when you have multiple AI competing for resources, it manages that. So AIs can't conflict with each other. If one's gone to a particular what they call a slot or location, another AI can't use that. It won't be trying to use it. It's how you really manage multiple AI in a scene. Let's jump into Unreal Engine. Now, where I'm at right now is I just did a tutorial on the basic AI, and this was just an AI going over to this area. And this sets the stage. So if you want to know where I'm at, if I hit play, you'll see just, I don't know, I'm having problems with my screen recording software. It's real jerky for some reason when I go to play. And I don't know why it does that. But anyway, you could probably see this player over here, this AI that came over here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put a smart object. We're going to modify this now with the smart object to send him to a slightly different location. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let me go escape. The first thing we need to do is go enable those plugins. So let's come in here and let's search for smart objects. And here they are right here. So enable this one and enable this one. Oops. And this one. And I believe AI behavior is already, I guess it's not. So I'll go ahead and click that one too. Okay, and then we'll go restart now, and I'll save what I've got right now. Okay, so we want to create a smart object. We have this target here. Now that we've enabled that plugin, if I click this, we should be able to come over here and add it to our event graph here. What's interesting about this is you'll click on it, it needs what's called a definition. Let me compile and save that. And it will compile and save. As far as setting it up in the scene, actually we use the definition for that. So that's really interesting how this works. So if I right click and I go into AI, you'll see we have this smart object definition. And what I like to think of this is actually how we set up the smart object in our scene. So if I click into it here, and I'm just going to call new smart definition, and here it is right here. What we're going to do to set this up is we can actually go and get our BP, I believe it's called BP target or just target, which is our right here, yeah. So this actually brings our scene into this scene here, and this is where we can position our smart objects. So we don't do it in our blueprint, we do it over here in the definition, which is really interesting. And then there's some other things we need to set up here. So these smart objects are contained essentially in what they call slots. So you'll see down here, we've got this slots. And so let's just make one right now. In fact, we can only use one really right now. So I'm going to click this. And if you click here, we can give it a name. And essentially this is the managing the physical manifestation of the slot. And there's entrances and things you can do in here. You can change the size of it and stuff. There's a lot you can do with it. But I'm not going to do any of that today. I'm just going to show you the basics. So it's here. You can't see it. But over here, I can offset it. So if I click this and drag, oh, that's taking it up. I can click it and drag it. And see, this is, let's see, I'm thinking of the space I have. I might have something in the way in my scene, but you see how I'm offsetting the position here now. I believe you can even put these up in the air and the AI will still go to it. So I'm pushing it off to the side there. And the only other thing I need to do now is it needs a default behavior definition. So we're going to click this here. And since we enabled the plugin, we should see one here for the behavior smart object behavior definition. There's that. And we keep going. There's more to do here. Here, we're going to select the behavior config. I don't know. Do I need a behavior class? Let me see. I don't think I set one last time because I'm not doing either of these things. So I think we're okay here. We'll find out soon enough. What does that do? No. Okay. So anyway, we got that set. And if we come in here and I click here, you'll see where we should be able to see our slot. I might have pushed it too far off to the side. Oh, you know what I did is I've got to go into my target here and apply that definition here. So now we should see it if I compile and save. So let's come in and see. Do I see it yet? Oh, you'll see it off to the left side now. So that was my mistake that I hadn't done that. So what we want to do is see if we can get the AI to go here and then to here. And we're just going to do this through the built-in functions that we have. So let's go into our target. We'll do everything we have left to do is in here. So previously I had created this trigger something else and all this, but what we're going to do now is just delete this. And the first thing that we want to do is see if we can, I think we can right click and we can go, I believe it's going to go, we're going to go find. Oh, we have to come over. There's a smart object here. Oh, I guess I could just search for smart object. You'll see here we have all these smart object options. So when we enable those plugins, you see all these options that we get, right? So we want to go with this one right here. So we want to go and find our smart objects in the scene. And all these things have to be met. So the user actor is this. Our smart object is this. And our filter is, if I pull off here, right there. And it requires a filter, and we aren't really using this, and this is just making sure that we're not searching for slots that are claimed. But these are just the requirements. And now I plug this in here. Now what we can do is pull off of here, and this is coming back as an array, and this is something that I'd been thinking about earlier when I was watching another tutorial, is, now think about this, we only have really one smart object, a slot in the scene, right? So it's going to return an array of them, right? We're not really cycling through the array, and we just got a 0 here. So it's kind of weird. We're going to, if there had more than one smart object in the scene, it could return, let's say, 4 of them. Well, I'm only getting the first one with this. So I would need to figure out a way to drive this. It might be random or something like that. But this is a weird way to get the smart object, because unless we put something like get random int in here, it's just going to get us the first item in the array every single time, which seems a little weird. Unless I guess we have a behavior tree overriding this and having to do something else. But we're not using behavior trees, we're just doing it this way here. So once we get it, we can break the result we get here with this break smart object request result. And we have this ID handle, and these are two separate things, right? But we can use this slot handle, and now off of here, there's an option we have to mark the object as claimed. And that goes back to that whole idea of the reservation system, right? So that you don't have multiple AI competing for a position. So now this actor is way over here. So I'm going to do a home run here and just drag this in here like that. But let me put a reroute node there and pull this up. There it is. Okay. Let's wire this in there like that. And now what we can pull off of here, and we're going to have an option here, if I search for use, we're going to have two options here. And this is what made me decide to skip doing the behavior tree, because this kind of kills two birds with one stone, right? It's going to move and use the object. So why can't we just use this? Why do I need a behavior tree for? So that's what I decided to do. Now this needs some stuff too, and it's going to want an AI controller. Here's our line feeding our user actor. So if I put a reroute node here and pull off of here, I can get the get AI controller, right? Like so. And then I can pop this in here like that. And we can do other stuff once this is done, on completed, on succeeded. And this really is the heart of AI, this succeed or fail. I mean, that's the whole thing of how AI works, right? You have it keep doing something until it succeeds, and then it moves on to the next thing, right? So it's relentless. It's relentless, and it keeps trying different things until it succeeds. It's like the Terminator, right? It keeps going, and it won't stop until it succeeds. So here I'm just going to print a string and say success or something like that. And let's compile and save. So I'll try to get this all on the screen at once. I'm not going to worry about any of that finish execute right now, but that is an option that we can do. So this is the whole thing. There's a little bit involved to it. But it's this whole process of setting down these slots and then having AI go to them. And then once they get to those slots, having things done. And then programming it to where, it leaves, then you free that slot up, and then another AI can go into it using that so-called reservation system. But the problem I see right now is right here, because even if there were multiple smart objects in the scene, I can only get the first one. I think that's all we need to do. And if I save this and come in here, what should happen, and I have no idea where you're seeing this happen in real time with me. If it works, and I don't know that it's going to, look how high up that slot is. So I could adjust that down lower in the, how high is that? Well, let's see if it works. So we'll come down here. We'll hit play and see what happens. Let me just double check one thing here. Make sure I got the definition. So this definition goes hand in hand with the smart object here and the plugin. So anyway, let's see if it works. So if it works, it's going to run over here, and then it's going to run over there. So let's see if that's what it does. There he goes. Yep, and there he goes. Huh, pretty cool, huh? Okay, so it's working. I'm just getting my feet in the water too, but I thought I would just throw this out there just to get you started with it, especially since some of these tutorials don't always lead to success. So anyway, take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.